Hello, everybody, and thank you so much. This is Laura Miller, managing editor of Chicago News Weekly, and we are in with a special treat today. We have comedic veteran, writer, and director B. Cole from Chicago, because it is important that when we interview somebody from Chicago, we say that they are, and we'll get all into his business and what time and what place from Chicago he's in just a moment. But thank you, B. Cole, for joining us today.
Absolutely. Pleasure to be on, and thank you for having me, really.
My pleasure. So, first things first, if you guys are familiar with B Code, then you probably are trying to figure out what was on his mind when he developed the concept of being in love with a crackhead,
I'm
because
in love with a crackhead.
that was
She's
so interesting. Like, what were you thinking about? How did that come about? Tell me, even though
you
that's
know,
not what we're talking about today.
I rarely share this story, but a lot of people just speculate and just think it's a true story. I'm in love with a crackhead. But the thing is, I used to host a poetry show like early 90s, when comedy was on its rise. Poetry started coming in. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they came out with Def Poetry Jam, the whole nine, right after Def Comedy Jam. But I was doing a poetry event once a month called Full Moon Poetry. And every full moon, we'll do a pop-up show wherever, different locations. But everybody know once the full moon, that's the poetry night, full moon poetry.
Mm.
I did it with my manager at the time, Vince Bass.
I met him recently.
Yeah, that's my buddy, man. Vince
Yeah.
Bass. We grew up together as childhood friend. So we done that, and we were getting a lot of not comedians, poets to come do the mic, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
we did majority of our shows at All Jokes Aside Comedy Club that was downtown, in the
Mm-hmm.
South Loop, um, which started off a lot of careers. But we were doing the full moon poetry events there. And it was a poet who I'd known and I invited out to come on out, go by the name Malik Youssef. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Malik Youssef going off doing a lot of things. Even Jay Ivy, you know, he came to come through there. So I was the host of it. So I'm a comedian keeping the crowd going. But Malik Youssef, he came to he performed one night and he performed a poem called "I'm in Love with a Dancer." Right. So when he did "I'm in Love with a Dancer," he had the women all swoon and all that stuff, the whole nine. And it was like a not like a I can't really remember the concept of the poem, but I just remember "I'm in love with a dancer." So when he got off stage, I went up behind him and say, "Man, I'm in love with a crackhead," and I got a laugh for it. So just
Right.
me saying that line, I said, "Okay, I'm gonna come back the next full moon with a full poem of that." So I came back and I had a full poem ready of "I'm in love with a crackhead," and the rest is history. You know, put it on
It's so
television, and
funny.
it was.
Everything you just said is historically Chicago things, right?
Mhm.
Malik is a historical Chicago figure.
Yes.
J.I.P. jokes, all jokes aside, all those things are quintessentially us. That
Yes.
when I saw the short, I was like, of course, because Chicago, that would happen to us. Because
You saw the short of "I'm in love with a crackhead"?
yeah,
Oh wow, okay.
because I mean, our crackheads are different. I don't know. I can't say I've seen some crackheads in LA. I've seen them in other places, but they different. They got flair. They got personality. Like some of us might have our own favorite one. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I had a crackhead come to my door one time to tell me that my tire was flat on the flat, but he had a tire with him. He said, but I can put this one on." I like, dude,
You
did you
see?
flatten my tire, man? You know, so you go through them things, but yeah, with that movie, that short film, we shot that back in 98, 99. And
Mm-hmm.
if you look at it, look closely, you'll see a lot of familiar faces in it. Dion Cole, Lil Rel, that was Lil Rel's very first movie. He had a little cameo
Mm-hmm.
in it. He played the stunt double of the crackhead character. So I put him in the clothes of the crackhead, and he just played the stunt double, to be noticed on purpose too. That is a stunt double. And then and it was actually the first film uh of Cootie Simmons. If you know Cootie, he went
Mm-hmm.
out, he did the Kanye documentary, Genius and stuff like that. But I'm in Love with a Crackhead was his very first film, you know, because him and I, we
Wow.
graduated high school together.
Where'd
And
y'all go?
Julian, Percy L. Julian High School on the South Side. But he actually came out a year before me. So uh,
Mm-hmm.
but we ventured off into this filmmaking thing, and we did I'm in Love with a Crackhead, and we had fun doing it. But we were supposed to do the next movie together, which was my second film called A Get Together, and
Mm-hmm.
Get Together went ahead and got produced. I've done it, but without Cootie, because Cootie at that time Kanye wanted him to move to New York, and he
Mm-hmm.
zipped off to New York, and you see what it became.
And literally follow him everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely, just
If y'all
everywhere.
haven't seen it, go watch it. Support Cootie also, even though we might not be salty that he didn't do the film. Because
Yeah,
opportunities are what they are. We're not gonna be salty about
yeah,
it.
no, I mean, as long as he come out on top of what he went off and did, stuff like that. Because when I saw the documentary, all the dates were lining up when I was filming my movie. So I was like, yo, it's impossible for him to be at two places at one time, you know.
So let's talk about parodies, right? You are, we're gonna, CNW is going to a private, very exclusive screening tomorrow, right? And it is
Yes,
a to-be movie. Tell me about that.
the Tubi movie. First of all, I think is a brilliant idea from the mind of filmmaker, director, writer Will Adams. And Will asked me to be part of the project, which is cool. We actually got connected through a mutual friend of ours, a guy named Marcus Sharp, and
Mm-hmm,
he put us together, and we finally got to work on this project, the Tubi movie. I thought it was a good idea when he broke it down to me, because everyone always, you know, make comments about movies on Tubi, and we see all the mistakes. So this, why not make a movie where all the imperfections are placed in the film on purpose? You know,
mm-hmm,
so like you'll have a scene where I'm looking inside the mirror, but you'll see the cameraman in the background of the reflection of the mirror. You'll see the boom might come out the ceiling, you know, stuff like that. The continuity is off. And those are the things that people love to pick out of Tubi movies and make fun of, and it'd be a
mm-hmm.
whole conversation piece. So with him making an entire movie like that, I thought it was brilliant. He asked me to be on. I was like, man, without a doubt, let's do it. So I'm excited about this, about seeing it tomorrow.
Yeah, so you haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it. The trailer is all I've seen, but I just know the parts that I filmed were funny, and I know the whole movie is funny. He has Adele Givens in it, Damon Williams is in it, a lot of Chicago actors are in it, so it's gonna be fun. It should be a comedy, Chicago comedy classic.
You know, and I think we deserve our own comedy classics,
Oh
right?
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the legacy of comedy in this city is, I mean, I don't know that we would have an expansive comedic genre like we do without
Yeah.
Chicago being present, right?
Chicago is known to produce a lot of the greatest comedians who ever lived and ever done it. You know, even comedians who weren't born here, they stopped in Chicago to, this was their pit stop to really establish themselves, such as like Red Fox. Red Fox left St. Louis to come here. Richard Pryor left Peoria to come here. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but Chicago has been that hub for comedy. It's the birthplace of Robin Harris. Robin Harris, he actually he was born here, and he passed away a night after his show. The same night of his show, after his show, he passed away after performing at the Regal Theater, the famous Regal Theater.
Mm-hmm.
So that, and then of course Bernie Mac, but we can't forget about Robert Townsend. Robert Townsend from the
Mm-hmm.
west side of Chicago. He kicked things off with Partners in Crime and Hollywood Shuffle. So we have a lot of history here. So my thing is just, I always wanted to just be part of the history of Chicago. And you mentioned I'm in Love with a Crackhead is a short film. It's a cult classic. A lot of people know about it, but a lot of people don't know of it. but I just want to go down as that. Even my second film I done called A Get Together. A Get Together is celebrating its 20th year anniversary in 2025.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a re-edit. I done the re-editing to it because 20 years ago I didn't have nothing to do with editing. But
Hmm.
I edit this version. It's called A Get Together, the cold cut. And I think is much phenomenal than the original. The original is lovely. It's a classic. People love it. But I think if this movie was edited the way it is now, if it was edited like this 20 years ago, I'd probably be doing my 15th movie. I'd
Right.
probably be receiving my fourth Oscar win, or I probably would have stopped Will Smith smacking Chris Rock because I would have been there. You know
You
what
could
I'm
have stopped him.
saying?
But you know what? We didn't need that not to happen. We needed that to happen.
But
We
like I
needed to
said,
think that we weren't watching live TV and be like, wait,
yeah,
did they cut the TV? That needed
like,
to
was this real? Was this a skit? But yeah, and I don't even know. Did everybody forgive Will by now, or is like still mad? I don't know.
I think, you know what? I'm gonna say when by the time Bel Air re-released, they we
uh,
okay. I think everybody's still
oh,
like we're
yeah, we're so forgiving. We're forgiving.
I
We're
think when Chris
forgiving
Rock
people.
went on I can't even say the language, but when he did his live Netflix special
Yeah.
and like let off on them, I think everybody was kind of like, okay, he's finally got his chance to say what he said.
Yeah.
He's what he said real seriously. And
Uh-huh.
everybody just kind of was like, all right, we're gonna move on. I
Move
mean,
on from
I
it.
mean, might
Yeah.
not have been moved on,
Yeah.
but we're moving, right? Everybody messes up. I mean, now he
Human
can be
nature.
a person.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now he can be in person and still a very rich person. And as long as he doesn't get caught with, a skid of baby oil, he should be okay.
Right.
If y'all are
Yeah.
watching this at the time, you know exactly what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
and it's so much. Yeah, and it's so much of that inside the media and stuff like that. It's just like, man, it's so oversaturated with just these scandals, especially with our people. You know, so big in the business and the industry and all that, and they just being not condoning anything they done and all that, but like I said, it's coming down. It's coming down on everybody, you know. But
Hmm.
it's making room for the news people to come in and do it right, you know.
Just that's fair.
Because
It
I'm
does
mad
have.
at I'm mad at Diddy. The only reason I'm mad at him because New Edition is one of my favorite groups, and he signed New
Mhm.
Edition to Bad Boy and did one album with them and didn't do anything with the album, you know. And that album is
And it
great.
was a good one.
It was a good
It was
album.
so
No one
good.
knows about it because Diddy just got them signed, whatever deal he got his money, but didn't do anything with New Edition. Like, how you do that with icons such as New Edition? You produce a great album, but don't promote it. And that was the only album Bad Boy produced. But I was excited about the union of it, but it just went down. It's just like, so that's why I'm mad at Diddy. You know.
I think everybody has their own like reason to
Yeah.
be upset that's like outside of all this stuff that's
Yeah.
happening because I don't know. I mean, I'm upset that I don't know where my identity is stemming from because a lot of my business acumen and that kind of power and force that I
Mhm.
attributed to myself was my Diddy mode, right?
Uh-huh.
Now I can't have a Diddy mode anymore. So like I have to recultivate a new personality.
Exactly.
He messed up. Man, it's a whole nother thing. But I did want to talk to you about comedy because I like the way that you do stand up because your stand up is not relegated on these type of headlines. You
Right.
actually kind of focus more on situational comedy, which I do find more refreshing, and I think it's a little bit more marketable because you're not banking on the hashtags or the headlines in that
Yeah,
way.
I was just explaining that to someone yesterday that I don't touch on them topics because people hear about them all day. They be at work, they see it on social media, be at work talking about it all day. They listening to
Mhm.
it on the way home. It's all in their whole day. But when you come to a show, why do I want to rehash of everything you've listened to and scrolled and watched all day on social media. I want to take you away from it. With my routine, I'm taking you away from that, a vacation from all of that, and just bring you into my world, you know.
Yeah. So about your world, what besides this Tubi movie are you working on? Because what they didn't see was you look like you was in the middle of a meeting before we started. So
Yeah.
see, business continues to evolve. So what else are you working on?
Well, I'm working on something really big for the city that I really can't touch too much on, talk about, but um, it's a few movie film projects that I'm working on that coming up. But right now, I'm focused on the next, like I said, this 20th anniversary of the Get Together. And then I'm also working on a comedy tour called the Bam Jam Comedy Tour. The Bam Jam
Mm,
Comedy Tour consists of me and three other comedians who I've come up with in the 90s. And that's Marlon Mitchell, comedian Muhammad, and comedian Jeff B. And we
mhm.
all of us together got 100 years of comedy combined experience. And Bam Jam is an acronym of our names. Bam Jam Comedy Tour. Bam Jam B and Muhammad, Jeff, and Marlon. So
I
that's
love
the
it.
yeah, so that's why we came up with Bam Jam. Oh, I had to fight for that name too, because they're like, Bam Jam, what the hell is, with the team? They was like, they wasn't feeling it at first. But when we had our first show, our first show was New Year's Eve, and coming into 2022. And when they heard the crowd just yelling Bam Jam after the show, like Bam Jam, Bam, they were sold. So yeah, so
You
we're
gotta
going.
have the vision. You sold it.
Yes, that's the thing, just having the vision of it and executing.
Hmm. I love that. So before you go, I need to know, do you have a favorite Tubi movie?
Oh wow, wow. Yes. I'm gonna say this right now. I have a favorite Tubi original movie.
Hmm.
I never even thought about what's my favorite Tubi movie, but since you put me on the spot and asked me, I'm gonna tell you right now, if people hasn't haven't seen it, and I'll tell you why it's my favorite. It's a Tubi original called Cinnamon. Cinnamon
Mm,
is starring Damon Wayans, and some new up and coming actors, but everybody knows Damon Wayans. Damon Wayans is my sensei of comedy. He's the guy who I looked up to, inspired me to even grab a microphone. And
hmm.
that was way back in 1990. I started my first time on stage was 1991. But he did I think it was one of the first Tubi original movies that they came out with, maybe like last year or 2 years ago, but it's called Cinnamon. If anyone hasn't
Hmm.
seen it, watch it. It's a really good movie. It's kind of like a drama slash little humor in it, but Damon Wayans is in it, and it's surprisingly good. You'll love it. But yeah, that's my favorite Tubi movie.
If I had to choose, I actually like Tubi's documentaries.
Oh wow, yeah, and they have plenty
They
on
have some real good stuff on Egypt and religion. Like, I mean,
and that
I'd have to review the
aliens and all
accuracy,
that stuff.
but Alien, like they have some stuff on Tubi, y'all.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not all,
Man,
Top Guns
Tubi,
and
yeah,
slow fall.
Tubi is doing it. Tubi is really ranking up in the competition because even platforms like Netflix is
Yeah.
now accepting low budget films.
Mm,
They put out a headline that they're accepting low budget films because they got to compete with Tubi. So
mhm.
so Netflix want that traffic as well. So any filmmakers out there, the whole nine, don't think Netflix is off limits. Please submit your movie to Netflix. Most likely they'll take it. I'm all about the independent filmmaker. That's right now. Hollywood is, you can see Hollywood kind of crumbling a little bit, but everyone's rooting on an independent filmmaker now.
Yeah, and I think it's really important to have the autonomy to control your voice. And
Exactly.
a lot of, straight to stream opportunities allow you to present a completed project without having too much back end discussion about changes and things that make, you know, major companies uncomfortable. You
Exactly. And
can say
that's
what
why
you need to say.
yeah, and that's why I'm really excited about this 20-year anniversary of the get together, because it's my version and not 20 years ago where I really didn't have a lot of say in certain things. So
I
this
love
is,
that.
yeah, it's a different film industry now, different world.
I love that. So before we go, the last thing that we need to talk about that is inherently Chicago is, are you a Bears fan? And if so, are you doing okay?
You know what? I just had this conversation with somebody the other day, and I never put this out publicly, but I don't follow sports. I'm not a sports guy. I'm not a sports fan. And I think that's why I
I
kind of
think it's
had good
easier on your
relationships
body
with.
too. It's less stress. You know what I mean?
uh, yeah, I see how people go crazy sports fans. But here's the crazy thing about it. By me coming up in the comedy game since 1991, it'll be what, 33 years this year for me doing comedy.
He
And
was
then
like 4, y'all. He started at 4.
so the thing with that, me doing television in the 90s, and at that time was the magnitude for comedy was huge, especially if you've done the Def Comedy Jam and the BT Comic View.
Mm-hmm.
So I was getting recognized a lot of places I went. Sometimes I'll go to some hang out at some events and all that, but it'll be a lot of tall guys, even
Mm-hmm.
like stocky. You know they're athletes, but they they come give me love and show love, but I show love back. But I guess it's not the love that they
Mm-hmm.
expect because they automatically assume that I know who they are. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So to them, I come off a little standoffish or shady. And it's not that. It's just that I don't know. If you don't have a gym shoe, if you don't have a commercial or in a
Mm-hmm.
scandal, I don't know who you are. But if you're not Michael Jordan, but like I said, I'm a fair weather fan when it comes to Chicago teams. Now, when the Bears go to the playoffs, yeah, that's when I start learning who's on the team, even with the Bulls and
Yeah.
baseball. I started learning everyone doing it, if they even make it to the playoffs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm not huge. I'm not huge on that sports. I played sports as a kid, but I never like followed up with it.
And you know what? Thank you for sharing that because that is okay. Because you are funny and you
Yeah.
could probably, so these things don't matter.
But it's crazy how people just automatically expect you to know about sports, and they just come up, start talking to you like, "Yo, man, who you got tomorrow?" I'm like, I got the winner. That's all I can say. The whoever wins, that's who I got. But I never admit to
It's like
them, yeah, that I
that you
don't
don't
know
like.
sport.
No, it's like it's a convenient conversation like the weather, right? So it's like, oh, it's cold in Chicago. I know you know what the weather is. I'm not gonna ask you, do you have an adequate amount of sweaters? Like I'm not,
Right.
we both know what the weather is today.
Exactly.
Or but I mean I recently read today that the White Sox are the worst team
Yes.
in the
Now,
like
I did see that
hands
they
down zero.
and what's so crazy, the last game that they had, they actually won, and the fans were still mad because they broke. It was going to be a world's record of baseball team losing that many games, but when they won that last game, they didn't even break the world's record, and the fans were mad at them that they didn't lose. Like
Yeah.
we could have went down as the world record as the most losses in the league. And the fans were mad because they won.
It's very asinine, and I appreciate you for saying that. And I'm looking forward to this Tubi movie. I'm also looking forward to your 20th anniversary.
Yes.
You were like 4 when you made the movie, so let
Yeah.
us know about it because we
I'll
are
I'll
going.
be I'll be sending you the information on that. And actually, I was very young when I started. I started at age 19, right after high school, actually, because like I did when I graduated high school, I did community college at Daly College, and but I knew what I wanted to do, and I was like, let
Hmm.
me. And then the year I got into comedy, the very next year, I was invited to come do BT's Comic View. So it kind of was like a nice little pace for me. But October 20th is the date for the screening of the 20th anniversary of the Get Together. We're doing it at the Harold Washington Culture Center,
Oh,
October,
nice.
and it's going to be a Sunday. So we're going to do like a matinee show screening. So I'll send you the information for that as well. And maybe
Oh,
I can
for
come
sure.
back
We're gonna
on.
be there.
Yeah, and maybe I can come back on and talk about that with you.
Oh no, you're definitely gonna come back on and we're gonna talk about
Yeah.
that. And when I see you tomorrow, I'm gonna ask you more sports questions and comfortable. A whole bunch of
Now I do know Derrick Rose just retired. Congratulations to Derrick
oh
Rose.
yeah,
So
congratulations,
yeah,
Derek.
so now
I'm
I'm just
just glad he doesn't get hit anymore. Like it's sometimes it's okay. Like, you know
yeah,
what, go sit
yeah.
on there. It's all right.
Just
Bless
sit
you.
on down, man. Get your statue, man. They need to make him a statue, put it right in front of United Center next to Jordan, and that's it. You know.
No comment. I love Derek Rose. But yes, thank you so much for sitting down with us. And like I said, CNW, you guys look out for our write-up about the film. We will be there tomorrow. Today is Tuesday. We're going to be there October 2nd. No, you cannot come, which is why I'm not telling you where it is. But we will tell you what happened. And go ahead and make sure you follow B. Cole. What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is B Cole Comedian.
B. Cole.
BCOLE comedian all together. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. So yeah, so and pardon because I normally don't wear a hat, but I got to get a haircut for tomorrow. So
That's a good hat though. It's a
it's cool.
throwback.
Yeah, it's
Can
cool,
go.
But everyone knows me for the natural, So
Yeah, so you like it's all under there? It's in there?
it's under that. I
Lord have
still hold
mercy.
on to the fro, but it's I'm going to have to take it down though. I just like I've been holding on to this fro for 3 decades now.
And you still not thinning at the edges. They're not hating on your light skin. They're
You know
not like
what?
messing up.
A little bit, but I bring my baby hairs down. You know what I'm saying? When I bring my baby hairs down, it's like the black man comb over. You know what I'm saying? Bring
Mhm.
that switch, swift it over. Then I got, I'm hiding my receding, but those are baby hairs.
Well,
Yeah.
as long as they didn't hate on you, shout out to your barber. Because I
Oh yeah.
mean that's very tough fro. You know what I'm saying? It's not
Absolutely.
it's like the toupee that Cat Williams said that Steve Harvey had. Lord Jesus.
Yeah, man. That's and shout out to Cat Williams, man, for shaking up the world at the beginning
Shout
of the
out to
year.
them all because he ruined 24 because it's been nonstop, nobody's business, all
It's,
on Front
it's the
Street.
year of exposure, everyone's getting exposed. So
I could do without it. And I'm a journalist. Like, let me dig to go get it. Like, let me do my job. Don't just lay it out. It's another story. B Code, thank you so much for joining us. I will see you tomorrow.
yes, thank you, Laura. Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye bye.